I'm sorry. I really tried to love Linux. I was on the Linux hype train, privacy, freedom, and all that stuff. Open source. I love open source. I use a lot of open source applications on both my Mac OS and Windows OS. When I want a new app or program, the first thing I look for is if it's open source or not. That's how much I love open source. Even on my Galaxy S10, it's full of open source for software, so I love open source. Now Linux is open source, freedom, contribution, no spyware. What's not to like? Unfortunately, a lot of YouTubers, if not all of the Linux YouTubers, except for a few, misguided me and keeps misguiding people like it's easy, just switch to Linux and that's it, and freedom and faster, you'll have faster OS, you'll have better OS applications. Some of them will not work, but a lot of them will kind of cover the ones that don't work. Gaming is beautiful, it's better than all before. I'm here to tell you, after personally experienced Linux for over 2 years now, so it's not like a week or honeymoon period. Even if you go on Reddit and whatnot, instead of seeing actual discussion about productivity, you see this honeymoon phase where they post their new wallpaper, I love Linux. That's not Linux. I actually dealt with Linux, real issues, and actually tried to use it as my daily driver. So first of all, the apps. Yes, there are open source apps, and like I said, I love open source apps, but they're not substitute for a lot of professional and semi-prosumer ones. DaVinci Resolve, for example, is a nightmare to set up. I managed to set it up on Mint, but it's a nightmare to set up on my Ubuntu Mate. It's very hard to set up, and even if you manage to set it up, it won't accept H.264 codec, which is the most used codecs, provided you're not using DSLR professional cameras. And I know that that's their fault, whatnot, but it is what it is. Forget about Adobe's After Effects and whatnot. All the replacements are a joke. And I use Shortcut myself if I'm not doing complicated work, and I love it, but it's not comparable to professional ones like Premiere and Resolve, which I love, by the way. Resolve is amazing, give it a shot. Another thing I don't like, which ties into the first thing, the support. If you go look for support, 99.9, they will ask you to put a command in the terminal to get system information. After that, either crickets, or they blame you like this is your fault somehow, or the developer's fault. You will not get any result. For example, the same example, DaVinci Resolve, if you search the missing dependencies issue that I had, you will have many people having the same issue with most of the replies, give us your system info, and crickets, or they ask you to run some unknown scripts which does not explain why do I have to do it from the start. And this is not Resolve. DaVinci Resolve exclusive issues, a lot of apps have the same thing, unless it's on the App Store, which is amazing, by the way. I have to give credit where credit is due. Most of the app stores on Linux are amazing. You can download the program directly, but if you need something extra, it's a nightmare. And the most issue I have with Linux, and this is directly a response to those YouTubers who are promoting Linux. Linux is the most unstable OS, at least on my hardware. I use it on both old MacBook, 2008 MacBook, and a new PC. Not brand new, but a PC. And I've been having issues with all the ones I tried, the variations. I tried Ubuntu Mate, issues. I tried Linux Mint, GUI crashes. I tried Ubuntu, slow, having issues. And this is not me. You can see, Google those things yourself. The OS crashes for no reason. Suddenly Bluetooth is not working. Suddenly the GUI is crashed. Suddenly you cannot connect your hard disk. And don't get me started on the sleep mode, suspend mode, which is broken on all Linux. And what does the Linux community do in this response? Nothing. Crickets. This is your fault. Why do you use this? Nothing works out of the box. In a lot of cases, basic features are broken, which are unimaginable on Windows or Mac OS. And I don't know why the Linux community simply accept them like this is normal. If you never used anything but Linux, yeah, this may be normal to you, but if you used Windows, which a lot of Linux community like to crap on, it's million times faster, more stable. And don't get me started on the apps and the ecosystem. Yes, it has telemetry, but you can disable it, and I don't like this as much as you do, but Linux in general is as stable as Windows ME, if not less. And I'm sorry for all those, just switch to Linux, format your Windows and continue using it. I recommended Linux to people and regretted it as suddenly they started experiencing the same problems. Me, bootloader is not working, the OS is not working, and you need to go to the terminal and start troubleshooting the OS, but I'm sorry, this is not my job. When I open my computer, I have an idea, creative idea how to do a job. I don't want to troubleshoot the OS. By that time, the whole idea, the whole motivation is gone. Imagine, let me give you an example. Imagine you have a car where every time you turn it on, something breaks and you need to troubleshoot it before going to work. Imagine you're going to a meeting and the steering wheel falls off. Imagine you're trying to go to a hospital and the car does not go in reverse. Unimaginable, comical. And I don't know how this is the norm in Linux community, because they have trillion variation of OSs. I'd rather they have 10 but more stable, focus their community effort to build something more stable, get more apps working, instead of arguing what's the better app delivery, Flatpak or Snap. Better focus on making yours stable. And a lot of people like the troubleshooting. Oh, nothing but firing your OS and going to terminal to troubleshoot. I'm sorry, if that's you, more power to you, but I use my computer to achieve something, not to troubleshoot the OS. And it's free because no one will pay for it. I know this has already been said. It's free because no one will pay for it. And like another video, I forgot the name of the YouTuber, said, Linux is only free if you don't value your time. I'm sorry, but time is the most valuable thing. I don't have time to troubleshoot my OS every time I boot. And if it works perfectly for you, great. You must be the lucky one, or I'm being simply unlucky and cursed with my hardware. But judging on Google searches and Reddit, those are common issues happening to everyone, almost everyone on Linux. And the simple solution is to simply go on Reddit or GitHub and run some script and do maintenance in order to make it semi-workable, which is not my job in the first place. I don't mind paying for OS, I don't mind paying for software. A lot of proprietary software are better than open source software. I don't get this mentality of Linux that if something is paid for or proprietary, then it's evil. Linux could use some proprietary software, big software. People paying for stuff is normal. Companies spying on people is not normal. I agree there with you. But paying for product is normal. The whole mentality of Linux and its user that if something is paid for, it must be worse. So anyway, those were my experience. I really tried, but I simply cannot continue using broken OS. And I tried a lot of variation. Each of them has some issue that is unimaginable on another one. I'm simply switching back to Windows, where it has amazing open source software and proprietary software, as well as Mac OS, which is secure more than Windows, and even Windows can be secured with simple malware protection. And if you know what you're doing, you're almost safe. I know that I will piss a lot of Linux users here, but I'm sorry, this is the truth. Let me know in the comment section what you think, and I'll talk to you in my next one.